Good night, good evening, Dada.
We are all live.
Jai
We are
Hind,
all live. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, Jai Hind.
First, your announcement.
No, first of all, I want to say
Yes.
that very alarming news has
UK. Yes.
Pakistani that rape gangs which were there.
Yes.
For that, a motion was moved in the parliament to have a complete inquiry,
Yes.
and the prime minister himself was the chief, of those inquiry of those justice on those gangs results and all.
Yes.
And this prime minister Strammer blocked that by issuing a whip. And can you believe
Yes.
that 364 MPs of the British Parliament
Yes.
voted that there should be no inquiry held in the rapes done by these Pakistani grooming groups, gangs of the innocent girls in UK. Can you imagine that? And the second thing comes is that Sadiq Muhammad, Sadiq Khan, Sadiq Muhammad, what's his name? The mayor of London, Pakistani,
Yes.
he has been given knighthood
Knighthood.
by the King of England.
Yes.
And the third news is that, well, the jihadis welcomed this knighthood
Yes.
and this non happening of the inquiry
Yes.
by putting up some explosives in a car at Regent Park. A small blast was also heard by some, and then the whole place was, you know, people were made to run away from there because they were shopping, that post Christmas shopping of sales over there. So the Londoners were moved away from there, and the dog squad and bomb squad and all took over. And you know how the British police is covering this? They are saying, we did carry some controlled explosions. What the hell is this controlled explosions? This is only when some explosives are there and you control the situation and blast those explosives. That is called controlled explosives. Eh? And they give a clean chit to that van, in which was the suspicious van and all. So I think Gandhi must be very happy today that Pakistan, which has always lost three wars with India, who's losing to Taliban today, has very peacefully, by ways of ahimsa, non-violence, has taken over England. Has taken over England. So that seed which the Britishers sowed in 47, Mountbatten, Attlee, Churchill, with Gandhi, Nehru's connivance and Jinnah's connive it out from Hindustan. Now that seed has now taken over England. It is no more England, it is Englandistan. Londistan is the capital of that. Who and these white men, this relates to our topic also today, who had declared that it is the white man's burden to civilize the world. You know, today these white men, their burden is to make the entire Islamic civilization.
And
This
this
is what they are doing.
communal politics in in obviously was started in India in 1905 by creating East Bengal. East Bengal.
Yes.
Then gradually, step
Yes.
by step, taking
Yes.
the help of Gandhi, then Nehru, Gandhi
Yes.
1920
Dada,
by Khilafat movement.
can you believe the trauma of these girls? The sufferings of these rape victims and these Britisher MPs. I could have understood if some other, and these are all Labour Party's MPs, whom our left supports, the Labour Party of England. This is the same Labour Party on whose instructions our leftists had supported Churchill in 1942 during the Second World War,
Yes.
ignoring the killings of lakhs of people in Bengal by the famine. So you can
Yes.
understand that for these labor people, these leftist peoples, neither human lives, neither the respect of women, honor of women, or the rapes of women have has any value.
And
What is
do you know one fact? One fact. Have you ever come across any statement of the Communist Party of India against the British made, man-made feminine Eastern India in Bengal?
no, no, never,
Have you come
never,
across?
never. And
Now, but
I was reading through a book. I am forgetting that scholar's name, who done a beautiful work, who has mentioned the rapes done by American soldiers in East India during 1943, 44, 45, which includes Bengal, which includes Tripura, which includes Manipur, which includes Nagaland, which includes Assam. So this is the true character of these people over there, and I'm sure Churchill must be laughing in his grave, and Gandhi must be clapping in heaven. Oh, look what a peaceful ahimsa way Pakistan has taken over England.
and one
That is
thing,
it.
another fact, possibly you know, when the famine was at the peak in East India, and the dead bodies were in the streets,
Yeah.
and at that time, some Longor Khanas was opened at different places by the British government, British authorities. Do you know who were made the volunteers of that Longor Khanas? Selectively, Communist Party of India cadres were made the volunteers of the Langor Khanas to make the party popular. That they are so sympathetic, so good for the
Hmm.
common people. They were
This, this,
selectively made volunteers, the Langor Khanas,
well, yeah, this is a
not
news to
others.
me. This is a news to
Yes,
me.
they
And
selectively CPI cadres
and
were
you
chosen
also
selectively for Langor Khanas
also
to
remember
volunteers.
that the Australian ships loaded with food grains at Calcutta port were sent to Europe and England at that time.
Netaji
Anyway,
Subhash Chandra, in his radio broadcast, told that please allow my ships to land in Calcutta port. I will send rice, 1 lakh ton to Calcutta.
yeah,
And
they had
but
sufficient. British
that
refused.
British refused.
I
Refused. That is.
know.
Okay, let us
So
come
anyway,
to the
Dada, I wanted to give these three pieces of information
yes.
to our listeners today
Yes.
because they should take it as an eye opener. What will be the fate of Bharat if these jihadis and these people they march on from Bangladesh to India? What we will be facing, what their daughters. Already in Bengal, we have seen that how many rapes and all by these people.
Yes.
What was that? Soda Kali. What was that place? Soda. Um, in that Sundarban area. That Soda. Um,
Oh, that
where
is
that
the okay. That place,
where
that
the,
that famous place
where,
recently. Yeah.
where
Okay.
that Pathan whosoever was picked up and all. There was a lot of big movement over there
Yes.
where women were brought in night by these people
Yes. Yes.
to report to him. So already this has been happening in Bengal, and the same way it happened in England, and now England is Englandistan, and these Britishers are ordering that Pakistani so Mayor Sadiq with knighthood, and in spite of that, the bomb blasts and all which are there, they are
Oh,
being
that
hid
place
under
is
the cover.
that place is Sandeshkhali. One of our
Sandesh
listeners had mentioned Sandeshkhali.
yeah, yeah, Sandesh
Sandeshkhali. Thank you,
So,
Arindam Ghosh. Thank you.
so,
Now let us
so,
now let us go to the our science and technology in our old age, in our ancient history.
sure,
In our
sure.
to what extent our science and technology improved in our ancient days, in our ancient India, but we have forgotten. And today, the Siku, Marku, Kongu historians do not recognize that. Rather, they want to make us forget that. Even there are some volumes on these our ancient achievements on science and technology, but these are not the part of textbooks uh, in university or colleges. Even
The,
in the colleges, almiras, libraries, you will not get those books.
that I'll say two things here. One is
Yes,
that we ourselves are partially responsible for that.
yes,
Why? One, that we adopted the colonial and leftist versions. Secondly, for me, it is very important to understand and find out that these excellent achievements in science and technology of our ancient civilization, why did we lose them? Because unless we understand that, you see, we all keep saying that India was a golden bird. Fine, India was. But why did it become poor? Unless we analyze that, we can't move forward. So that is where there are three, four problems I see. First, let me talk of some achievements. I think by now our audience also knows that zero, decimal, all invented in India.
yes.
Even that pi
Theorem.
thing that which they say done in India. We had the biggest mathematicians in India who did that. Then the most crucial among these was the distances to the planets.
Yes,
Today NASA is saying, because we believe only now when some foreign organization says that they are almost familiar what are our calculations today, their calculations today.
yes, yes, yes,
And in those times, our rishis and saints having knowledge of the entire universe, identifying each of the planets. Okay, the earth rotates around the sun. Such discoveries at that time, you know. Then you come in the field of medicine, Ayurveda. The other day, one person was arguing with me, well, Ayurveda can't cure cancer and all these things, serious ailments. So I laughed. I said, look, I'll give you one explanation here. All the ailments which were existing those times, Ayurveda had a remedy for that. And these cancers and heart attacks and all, they started coming in today's world because of these climatic changes, our dietary habits, and all these things. And had cancer and all existed at that time, we would have found mention of that in Ayurveda because they are honest in their dealing. They would have said it. Okay, yes, there is some disease for which we can't find the solution. But had the diseases been there, they would have researched and they would have found the solutions to that. This is my answer to that. And that is why, you see, the moment you get cough and cold, your best of these solutions are Ayurveda, not sure these allopathic tonics, syrups, and all those. Well, you yourself are an allopathic surgeon, doctor, when I'm saying this to you. So, all those serious ailments. Now, Charak Sahinta, the surgery and all. I went to this scientific museum in Delhi, in Pragati Mehta. So, whatever instruments they said they have been mentioned in that Charak's work, They have made replicas of that. And Dada, you will see these replicas, they are very much like your modern instruments for surgery. I was quite surprised when I saw them. And they had the Sanskrit name for that. And even some places they tried to put up the modern names also for those things. Then plastic surgery, what we call plastic surgery today. Uh, I'll give you a very interesting incident. Uh, we were going through some files and we found the case of in Gujarat. This fellow was a Baloch revolutionary who somehow hiding landed Gujarat. Say they called this plastic surgery nose. He has done so many things. So we were looking at it. How come in Gujarat in that area so many noses were being cut? That this man has a record of nose plastic surgery world over.
One thing.
And it turned out
What
this revolutionary used to cut the nose of Englishmen.
surgeons of the
And
world,
from
surgeons
there,
of the world recognize, surgeons of
huh,
the world recognize
huh,
India. India is pioneer in plastic surgery, in
yeah,
rhinoplasty, that is repair of nose and ear. In
yeah,
ancient India, punishment of the criminals was cutting the nose, cutting the ears. Then surgeons were there who could repair nose and ears. And
yes,
in
and then,
Australia, in front of the university, there is the statue of Susruto. And at
yeah.
the bottom of Susruto, there is written, he is the founding father of plastic surgery.
But we in India
And
will not
we
remember
have
him.
forgotten. We have
We have not.
forgotten.
We will not teach
And
our medical students. We will not teach our students.
yes, and
Dada, your video is
learned surgery and science technology from India. But many of the honest persons are there who have written that they have got all these things from India. Many of them. There are some honest persons also. They recognize that. They have written that they হ্যাঁ আরে চলে গেল এই কেটে গেছে ওদেরটা they their forefathers learned it from Indians. This science and technology, Europeans, they learned from the persons of the West Asia, and West Asia got this from India, from
Greeks
Hindustan,
also.
Greeks also. And let me quote something, then they will go on. First, I'll quote Willie Durant. You know, Will Durant is recognized as one of is
Yes.
the greatest historian. I am taking few lines from his writings. India was the motherland of our race and Sanskrit, the mother of European languages. India was the mother of our philosophy, much of our mathematics, much of our mathematics, of ideas embodied in Christianity. It has recognized the root of Christianity is in Hindustan, of the self-government and democracy. In many ways, Mother India is the mother of all of us. Durant.
And he is considered as a very as the best historian on Renaissance period.
Yes.
This thick volumes of his on Renaissance. I read him because I was teaching the paper.
And I'm quoting one line from Lord Curzon, who divided in Bengal. was a very man of learning. His writing. India has left a deep mark upon the history, philosophy, religion of mankind more than any other terrestrial unity in the universe, more than any other terrestrial, any other race in the world. Another thing, I am Romarola. I'm quoting from Romarola. If there is one place on this earth where all dreams of living men have found a home from the very earliest days of man's existence on earth, that is India. All concepts, the mother of all concepts, the original place of all concepts in human mind, in India. Another, Albert Einstein. We owe a lot to the Indians who taught us how to count, without which no worthwhile scientific discovery could have been done. The father of mathematics is India. It is Albert Einstein telling. Without mathematics, science could not stand. That is his statement. Max Muller. I am few lines from Max Muller. Then we will go on. Max Muller. In the study of history of human mind, in the study of ourselves, that is the applied psychology, our true selves, India occupied a place second to no other country. Second to no other country. Whatever sphere of human mind you may select for your special study, whether it is language or religion or mythology or philosophy, whether it is the laws of customs, primitive arts, primitive sciences, all primitive sciences, everywhere you have to go to India, whether you like it or not, because some of the most valuable and instructive materials in the history of mankind are treasured up in India and India only.
Now, well, let me come to some specifics, some specifics, Shruti. You see, you pick up the Mahabharata.
Yes.
Now, Sanjay giving a live account of the war
Yes.
to Dhatraj sitting in Hastinapur. People will laugh at it. What an imagination of that. What is happening today? See, besides the television and the satellite imagery and all it, we have the workshop. We are doing this conferencing live face to face with each other. But it was discarded as a myth. And even now, some of them laugh. Okay. You pick up the Lakshman Rekha. Now, what is a mine? The mines are placed outside, so the enemy can't move in. Okay. So the Lakshman Rekha is there. Then you think of this Pushpak Viman. You see, Bharadwaj Samhita very clearly mentions that the Vimans of Syria or from Assyrians are better than us. And I was talking to a physics professor. He said that the principle which this Bharadwaj Samhita is mentioning of physics, that is possible, though we have not reached that stage. And what is the principle? Simple principle: if you create a vacuum, you lift up. That is how these. And secondly, these Vayuyans were not common to everyone. Ravana had one, Ram had one. Okay. Now you tell me today, how many countries have these satellites? Four, five, six. And if today this civilization goes away, and after 1,000 years, some other civilization comes, will it believe that the man had gone up to the moon or to the Mars? Their rockets had gone. They will laugh at it. They will also say it is mythology. So many of these aspects, and it is not just that. You see, if you look at Kautilya Shastra and look at the construction of forts, the kind of forts we have in Bharat, show me one fort of like that in the world. Whether it is Jaisalmer, whether it is Jodhpur, whether it is Ratnagiri, whether it is down south. At the most, they have are some castles, smaller ones, none like the ones we have in India. None like the ones we have in India. And you look at their structures. When we go to this Ratnagiri fort, which was renamed as Daultabad Fort near Aurangabad. The other there is a ditch, and then there is the main door. But from main door, when you enter, there is a kind of a what you call open space, and from that open space, there are three caves on three sides, again with doors. And above these caves are the places for the soldiers to sit, so that if any invader who has broken the main gate and has entered this open space, they will spill burning oil on that army. And that Tughlaqabad, this Daultabad fort is one fort which no one could win or capture it in war, fighting. It was only that Aurangzeb and same this Alauddin Khilji did, that they laid a siege of that for almost a year. And it is when the water, etc., and the food grains had finished inside, then they could make the people surrender.
In Asiatic society,
And
archival materials,
and
the records are showing their study. They surveyed all over the country to find out the achievements of the in science and technology of this Bharat. British, after coming to this country, they surveyed all over the country. They discovered, they found what was the technique of smallpox vaccination, what was the art and science of producing motors, what was the science and art of extracting iron from iron ores, what was the technique of stainless steel production. Stainless steel production in
see,
India is the pioneer in the world.
India's metallurgy,
Metallurgy.
particularly you look at that Ashtadhatu concept, mixing eight metals and making Ashtadhatu out of that is no joke. And you see these things of ours, smelting works, go much back. If you look at the beads, find it all these sides, beads of precious stones. You'll find it the bead is only this big, and there is a very fine hole done into it, which your modern drilling machine will not be able to do. You see, you look at your temple architecture. they talk of Taj Mahal. You show me a place in the world like this temple at Ellora Caves,
Alright, yes. Ajanta.
the Shiv temple at Ellora Caves, that how from one hill they start with chisels. They didn't have any modern tools. They start with chisels and they are able to carve out the whole temple, the most beautiful bas reliefs and sculptures on that. And imagine the brain of that architect who would have designed the first thing. You go to Aurangabad caves. When I went there, there was a group of scientists there measuring it all. So I said, "What are you doing?" They said that we are stunned that these caves have been made in a way that late till evening the sun rays come into them. There is a temple in Madhya Pradesh, same thing, that the sun rays go deep into the Garbhagriha, center of the temple, till late evening. Now, how we spoiled it? Some 20 years back, I got that stopped. The Madhya Pradesh Tourism Department brochure will say that the Pandavas were passing through this area, and Ma Kunti wanted to offer prayers, but it was evening. What to do? Then Bhim lifted this temple and changed its direction. So the sun rays came in. Now, instead of, one could say, "Okay, this is the story," but one has to see the architect who planned that what level of archaeological knowledge was there, the artisans who made it. You see this Konark temple where they had a big magnet, and that magnet had destroyed a European ship. I think it was a Portuguese ship or
Yes.
a British ship. Said that they broke that magnet in the temple over there.
Yes.
So any area you pick up painting. Look at the Ajanta paintings. That famous painting there, this women having a garland, diamond garland, and that's shines. That kind of paintings.
I'll mention one paper which is in Asiatic Society archives. A copy has gone to England. It is in the earliest part of the British rule in India. Their researchers found how the smallpox vaccination was here continuing in the villages. How the smallpox vaccination was continued. The technique of small vaccination. What was the technique? Technique was a patient is suffering from smallpox. From the vesicles, pus is collected. Pus is collected, then that is inoculated to a healthy person with a on scratching into the skin. Then the virus enters into this human body, healthy human body. Body is immunized. That was recorded by this Britisher. Paper was sent to England, and there they they are telling they discovered the smallpox vaccination. What they did, they modified this technique. They banned our ancient technique of vaccination here in India. They started their technique here, but they learned it from India and made us forget that we had a technique of vaccination. Number two, the Damascus sword. Damascus sword, so famous throughout the world, as if Damascus were producing this stainless steel sword. Damascus sword, the production was actually not India. That was being exported to Damascus, and from Damascus city, the all over the Western world, they are collecting. In stainless steel production, it is not in those days in India. All princely states, all kings had a iron factory and stainless steel factory, particularly to be used for the production of weapons, high quality weapons. That's why in that way the iron from iron ore, iron extraction technique was developed in India, and then came the steel production. In steel and iron and also many other like manganese, zinc, before that copper. In all these, we are pioneers. From
That's
that
why
time,
this happened.
yes,
That when the Britishers took over these princely states and reduced their army numbers and all,
yes,
it badly affected those artisans who were making these swords. And they went over to agriculture as agriculture laborers and all, as their own tradition.
and also
Dada, Dada, let us forget swords for a moment. You talk of the Dhaka muslin,
Muslim, yes,
that level of cloth,
cloth.
they could never do.
And chemistry. The father of chemistry of in India is Acharya P.C. Rai. P.C. Rai in his volume is Hindu chemistry. He has written Hindu chemistry. Hindus knew chemistry to a large extent. Hindu chemistry. And about astrophysics. The world has accepted the fact that in astrophysics, astronomy, it is India the pioneer.
No, today itself I was seeing a video which some this American historian is talking very high of ancient Indian civilization, and he's showing in that video the different aspects of our bread. Now you see, the worst thing I tell you, what these leftist historians did was, see, they claim that they follow scientific approach to history. Now tell me, what does science say? Science says if something is there, you experiment, you research, you explore, and then come to a conclusion. That is the scientific way.
Let me read
And
few
when it
lines
comes to,
from
no, no, 1 minute, let me complete. And when it comes to any of our ancient Indian achievements, these people will do no research, no findings, just dictate. No, it's all mythology. It is all absurd. I asked Professor Irfan Habib in one of the seminars when he was harping upon this, that the knowledge of Persian is a must for medieval Indian history. I said, you are a Marxist historian and you are talking of the language of the rulers, then that is a must. What about the Indian languages at that time? The local languages, they were all there. You don't want to study their literature, their writings. And you, and then I said, for a minute, okay, I accept that Persian is a must. Tell me one thing. Do you know Sanskrit? He said, no. I said, do you know Pali? He said, no. I said, do you know Kharoshti? He said, no. I said, then why the hell you keep commenting on ancient Indian history? From Aryans to Indus Valley to all that. Can you understand ancient Indian history without the knowledge of these languages?
yes. I
So
am
this is how these people discuss.
I am reading a few lines from Syrian scholar Sebot, a priest come astronomer of Syria of 17th century AD. Quote, I shall now speak of the knowledge of Hindus, of their of their discoveries in science, of the astronomical discoveries, even more ingenious than those of the Greeks and Babylonians, even more ingenious those of the Greeks and Babylonians, of their methods of calculation. You mentioned of calculation? Yes. Which no word can praise strongly enough. I mean the system of using nine symbols. If these things were known to the people who think that they alone have mastered the sciences because they speak Greek, they should perhaps be convinced through a little late in the day that other folk, not only Greeks, but men of the different tongue, know something as well as they. It is the Hindus of Hindustan. Their calculation is more
You see, the
ingenious than
problem started,
Babylonians
Dada.
and Greeks.
You see, the problem started with us that when we distorted the Varna system, you know, and in that what happened that if the it became caste by birth, so if the person is a fool, but still he had the right only to study in some respects. To one extent, this harmed us. The second thing harmed us was the foreign invasions, the burning of our libraries, universities. Can you imagine India having 27 universities in the ancient world? Even countries don't have 27 universities today. You see, and India having 27 universities, and where all subjects are taught. The problem is that these left historians linked these universities of ours as only places of religion. So they have to attack Hinduism, so attack these universities. Now, these universities, even religion was taught. There was, you see, at Nalanda or at our this, the one in
Taxila.
Pakistan, Takshila,
Taxila.
the subjects taught were Buddhist also, religion was taught, Vedas were also taught, sciences were also taught, geography was also taught, statecraft was also taught. They talk of public administration as a new discipline today in the world.
Politics.
What is Kautilya? What is Kautilya Shastra?
Politics. Military system.
And you see the very interesting thing. In today's world, we see that everything revolves around finances and money, and it's the economy. What did Kautilya title his book? Kautilya Arthashastra, which had everything but talked of the importance of money in society also.
Even few
Gave
hundred years back.
taxation rules also. So the earliest public administration and governance book we find is the Kautilya Shastra after the Vedas. And it shows a developmental aspect. In Vedas, they have shown how the Brahma is to be understood, how the Mahajanpad is to be, Janpad is to be understood. And from there it goes to how the cities have to be understood. On trade, taxation, everything he has written. And you see, you show me one parallel literary work which can compare with Mahabharata. Which aspect of the society, from science to warfare to public administration, to human relations, family relations. What is not there in Mahabharata? Characters.
For even few hundred years back, Europeans were thinking the earth is a plane. Thousands of before that, our ancestors coined the word Golardho. Golok. Golok. Earth is a Golok. Golok means globe. They knew Earth is a globe, but they knew it long after. Long after. And let me quote another scholar of Sweden. But if it is true that Hindus more than 3000 years before the Jesus Christ, according to Bailey's calculations, had attained a high degree of astronomical and geometrical learning, how many centuries earlier must the commencement of their culture have been, since the human mind advances only step by step in the path of science? Long before Jesus Christ, 3000 years before Jesus Christ,
Dada,
Hindu astronomy.
Dada, you see the symbol swastik.
Yes,
You see the stupas,
Stupoj.
the geometry aspect. You look at the temple architecture, then the art of finishing, Mauryan art. Till today, the scientists have not been able to discover what chemical is that polishes which is there on the Maurya period. It starts with that, it ends with Maurya period. But they are unable to. The most modern chemistry and all these have failed. You look at the iron temple, this iron pillar, Maroli in Delhi, standing in the open without any rust for thousands of years. No impact.
You
So
talked
all
about
these
rhinoplasty.
learnings, but I'm
You
telling
talked
you,
about plastic surgery.
a very good thing is happening now. Since last almost 10, 12 years, our DRDO now is paying attention to all these
Ancient
scientific
cultures.
matters.
Yes. Now
The
you
defense
talked about
research,
you talked about
this.
plastic surgery. I am quoting how a Western scientist has accepted this. He is Professor MacDonnell. He is telling in modern days European surgery has borrowed the operations of rhinoplasty, that is plastic surgery, on the formation of artificial nose from India, where Englishmen became acquainted with this art in the last century. Long
That's
before
what I'm talking, Gujarat.
yes. And our astronomy science is 5,000 years old, 5,000 years old, 3,000 years before Jesus Christ.
You never know, maybe it's much more earlier. You never know.
Maybe more
Because
earlier.
now you see, Dada, with these recent excavations in Iraq and Syria, they have found fortifications which go back to 10th century, 10,000 years back. And oh, yesterday I was forgetting the name of that. That is Bhogaskoi inscription, where I talked of the war between Hittites and Egyptians and all, and where they made the treaty. That is the first treaty in the world, sign on the stone, which you get in evidence. And that is being placed somewhere around 14th century BC. And in that, the treaty starts with invoking the two Ashwin brothers and three other Hindu gods.
We have come towards the end. We have come towards the end. Today we'll stop after few minutes. After few minutes.
Okay.
And tomorrow will not be, I will not be possible in position to have a time.
Okay, fine. No problem.
Then
No
let me
issues.
quote only quote one thing. Yesterday I talked about the statement of Karl Marx about India. Let me one, just few lines. What Karl Marx has told about India. In England has broken down the whole framework of Indian society. England has broken down the whole framework of Indian society without any symptoms of reconstruction yet appearing. England is not trying any reconstruction. They have destroyed everything in India. That is definitely a definitely. এবং this loss of old world with no gain of a new one imparts a particular kind of melancholy to the present misery of the Hindus and separate Hindustan ruled by the Britain from all its ancient traditions and from the whole of its past history.
But will the Indian Marxists of today follow Marx from this?
Yes.
You see, Marx famous words where he calls that religion is the opium of the masses. And the next words are,
Yes.
it is the heart of the heartless and sigh of the oppressed.
This is the only hope of the
Yeah,
hopeless people. This is the
yeah.
only hope of the
So
hopeless people.
these
But
words
this was deleted.
Marxists will not acknowledge,
Yes.
but they call themselves Marxists. Marx was having a whole secondary view on religion, and that is why he had asked Engels when he wrote that peasant war in Germany. And there are three gods fighting each other. There is one Jesus Christ of peasants. There is one Jesus Christ of the monarchy and the kingdom. And there is one Christ of the rising, what they call bourgeoisie, middle classes.
Tomorrow is Friday. We will not be able to discuss tomorrow.
Fine.
Maybe I will tell you, maybe on Saturday and Sunday will continue
We'll do that.
after 10. What
We'll
will the
do that.
next subject? Next subject on this continuity?
Now, the next subject, let's see. We covered quite a few subjects today.
Now let us go to how the Islamic invasion has destroyed our science and
I
technology.
think let's come out next topic on the social order. We have not discussed the social order.
Of the ancient
This, no, we bring it together. The caste system, Varna system, how it was used, condition of
okay.
women, condition of women in
First,
ancient India.
first we will discuss about the Hindu age and their Borno system.
No, and then how those systems were broken up, how
Yes.
the Islamic and British invasions affected those systems,
Yes. That will be
like
useful.
joint family system and all these things, the panchayat, joint
And
family.
possibly that will, yes, panchayat system, yes. Possibly that will be on Saturday night
Fine,
at 10
fine.
p.m.
That means 11th. Fine. Same time.
10 to 11.
Fine. We do that.
Okay.
We do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Dada.
Good night.
See you.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. আরে short করবো।
Done. I have sent you one video I have made
Okay, I'll see
on this England thing.
England thing. Okay.
I made a satire and all that. Please have a look at that video and circulate it also.
Okay.
Okay, Dada. See you. Good night.
On Saturday night.
Okay, Dada.
Saturday night. Okay. আরে কাটবো এটা কাটা হয়ে গেছে দেখতো